Brian Koberger sits in his Later County jail cell. His defense lawyer is making big plans to change the trial venue and request a delay to 2025. Can astrology and tarot predict the outcome of the next hearing on May 14th, 2024? That's next on Astrology and Crime.
And hello and welcome to Astrology and Crime. I'm Val Evans. Thanks for joining me tonight. And hello, everyone in the chat. Nice to see you. Tonight, we're looking at the astrological chart for the next hearing time for Brian Koberger on Tuesday, May 14th, 2024. And the objective is to see what could possibly happen and who will win their argument. There'll be a decision made on the location of the trial as well as the timeline, and if the defense can push the time frame to 2025. And it's a very interesting chart. So let's take a look first. I want to just make a couple of announcements before we get started. Tomorrow, we are going to be looking at Princess Catherine and some of the updates that we can get from the next charts that I have for you. So, rumor or reality, everybody's going nuts. It's a little ridiculous. But we'll see what happens and what is going to happen next. We're doing the part 2 for Ted Bundy's kill calendar, where you can actually see the months that he would kill based on his solar return chart. Now, here is the hearing time chart for May 14th, 2024. I put it to 10 o'clock. I don't know what time it starts, but can we just say that it's 10 for now, unless somebody has an objection? Thanks, Dino. So that we can just sort of get the basics. It's like, okay, what are we looking at here? We've got a lot of planets. We got a lot of stelliums, stellium meaning groups of planets in one sign, which is telling, I think. And, what's what? So we're going to take a look at that right now. In any chart, we're going to look at who starts the chart. Is it the groom for a marriage chart? Well, it would be the ascendant because he proposes usually. Is it a court chart? Well, if the court is the one that proposes the time, then the court will be presented or represented by the ascendant for this one. If it is a sports game, the home team would be the ascendant, whoever is hosting. So really, the ascendant shows the host, unless what is represented by Leda County. And that's going to be Leo. That's interesting. So the court is at the ascendant. And what is the ascendant? It's in Leo. Leo is the king. I mean, it's about the home, the king home, right? So moon represents a home. And it also represents families because of Leo. Leo is family. Moon is mom, but it's definitely the king home. And it is right front and center in this case. So, of course, this is probably going to be in the first house, which is what everyone is talking about at the court. Who is in the court? That's going to be the first house. Basically, humans that are collaborating, and they are all in that first house. But we're not done yet because we've got to look at what the ascendant Lord is, and that's going to be the sun. So it's up here in the 11th house, which is really interesting. The 11th house is, it's an Aquarius house. So it does make sense. Aquarius represents DNA and evidence. So maybe we should look to the 11th house, but it's also about friendships too, and about friends. Now we've got a fixed star here. We've got a couple of them that I'm going to skip over for a second. And we've got Algol here. We've got this nasty degree, 15 degrees in Leo is great tragedies. It's one of the worst degrees in the zodiac. And so we've got a lot of algol, which is the devil. So the court is going to be up here. And that's one side of it. It's in the 11th house, and there's a lot of people in here. A lot of Taurus types of stuff. Makes me think that what is going to be in the documentation, maybe not spoken about, but it's kind of like behind the scenes. It's part of the whole package. That's food, that's the delivery driver. So, whoever is dealing with food is going to be part of this. First of all, one of the biggest things I see in this chart is that there is a square from the king home to the government or the court, plus Uranus is DNA. Now, there is a female up here, if you notice, at 18 degrees, which is the devil degree. And it looks, I don't know who she is, uh, could be in the court, could be somebody who is talking about DNA, Uranus, DNA, could be like an expert or something, and is coming in and saying, well, you know what? We just couldn't collect any of that DNA, Uranus, in the king home. It's like we were blocked. We couldn't do it. So that's part of the argument, obviously. And then there's a woman that's talking, it seems. They're bringing somebody in there saying that, it wasn't sufficient. And remember that Uranus is also a change. This is really the crux of the hearing. The purpose is to change and to change the year and also to discuss the DNA. What stands out to you is that nasty T square. And this is a problem. And it's going to be a problem when you see one in one of your charts sometimes. Thankfully, with the progressed charts, you can come out of these T squares. You don't have to necessarily live with the T square your whole life in your birth chart. The victims' families are also here, and it looks as if they are surprised about something. Obviously, this could be the home. This could be they could not get to the DNA in the home, but it's also something where potentially the victims' families are shocked because of Uranus in the 11th house. I think maybe they're talking about that food delivery, that online delivery, and maybe that's part of the witnesses. They're going to interview all the witnesses that were there at that food truck. Anybody who was eating that night basically is going to be on the stand. So, that's already 100 people right there. Pluto is an interesting planet here. It is part of this T square. Mercury is at the top. Those are the redheads again. Remember we were talking about that? Oh, I wonder who they are. Oh, there was that one woman who has red hair. And didn't she have a bakery or something? There's also an angry witness of some sort who's like, I'm not, why is it a witness? Because Mercury's a witness. Aries is Mars and anger. So an angry witness is like shutting something down. Sorry, this court wants to hear something. They're not going to hear from this person. And they really need to hear from her or him. Could be two people. This could be a military witness. Oh boy, we're getting into that other stuff that we try to avoid. Uranus is unaliving. It is that sudden death from one person that we've spoken about in the past, and we don't know if it's connected or not. The defense is going to try to throw anything out there to create doubt. So it wouldn't surprise me if there were some military that was coming in. We've got military and we've got police. So this is like a bunch of military people who could be part of that witness list. So I think I would like to know a little bit more about who this witness is, and then we'll get more into the hearing. What are we asking? We're asking about who this witness is who's just stopping up everything because of Mercury being in Aries, squaring Pluto. That's too many witnesses, too many angry witnesses. That's a possibility. Yeah, we want to know more about this person. How is this going to affect this hearing? It looks like there are no options. Usually Seven of Cups upright is someone who has maybe a lot of options or too many. So this, I don't know, what do you guys think about the reversed Seven of Cups? Looks like this person does want any options or have any options. They just, and it's a no, basically, right? It's a no. Hey, Angel D. I think it's a woman toy. Of course, the hearing is going to be right in the middle of May, which is a terrible time. It's algal season and really not a good time to have anything or plan anything because we've got the devil. So, can we get any more detail about this witness and, um, and maybe a profile of the witness? What does the witness look like? Okay. Okay. Uh, it is interesting. You know who I think that is? I think it's one of the roommates. This is the world, but it's reversed. We've got a lot of reverse cards, which means no, 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 no. They do not want to be involved. They do not want to look at him. There's PTSD that is involved. Natalie, that's a person that doesn't have a choice but to testify. Yes. Um, Reverse Seven of Cups can mean you're overwhelmed by choice and cannot move forward. So maybe that's because there are so many different witnesses. I don't know. They don't know which one they want to pick first. Okay. Angel D, you heard a source allegedly reports they've discovered a burner phone for BK. Whoa. Okay. Let's write that down. A burner phone. And that's going to be Mercury. I'm getting the chills about that. Wow. I'm not surprised because we've been talking about that a lot, but oh my God. Yeah, clearing the options, bringing focus. I know, another phone. There's also a rumor that the DoorDash driver didn't leave immediately after dropping off the order and saw the white car and maybe the driver allegedly again. It'll be interesting to see who is the witness for whom, because it looks like some of these witnesses might be valuable for either side. So that's very interesting. Lisa, you're saying Seven of Cups reversed. They don't want to see the reality of the situation. The defendant is the descendant, and it is in, wow, that's weird, Aquarius. And Aquarius it's evidence, it's DNA, it is something that moves fast, it is suicide. Um, I don't think he would do that though. But it certainly looks like there's some kind of discussion here about maybe somebody who, did that. But we want to look at Uranus because the defendant is not only the seventh house, which is in Aquarius, but it's also Uranus because Uranus is the lord of that house. Pluto makes sense right on the descendant because Pluto represents murder. And Aquarius, that is, oh, wow. That's a sorority. So this is, sororities and fraternities. So that kind of explains, I think, a little bit with Pluto there and this big square. These could be all the witnesses and their fraternity brothers and some of the sorority sisters. And this is what's coming in. Coming in meaning coming onto the scene, and they're just trying to block. So it almost seems like There's somebody who could potentially could be almost defending a group of people, like a mother or, somebody who is of a more authoritarian figure who's saying, "No, not these people. You stay away from them. They didn't see anything." So there sure is a lot. I've said it before, but there's so much anger. Look at 4 points, 4 planets in Aries. Wow. And that's going to also represent what's happening in the courtroom. And oh, thanks, Lisa James. And some of you are becoming a member again. So thanks for coming back. Now, the Aries represents not only people who are going to be really pissed off that day, but can show what people are wearing too. We might see a lot of people wearing red. I don't know. Don't ask me. Now, what's really interesting is we've got the prosecutor and the defendant right next to each other in the 11th house. And then you've got this interesting figure right here, potentially a scientist, somebody maybe who's wealthy, who runs a DNA company or something like that. But we don't like 18. 18 is somebody who is coming in and saying, this, what we've been given is insufficient, or whatever this person is saying or doing, it's helping, it seems, because you can see that blue line from this. It could be a woman, but it could be, I mean, I'm going to say it's a woman. It could be food, because Venus in Taurus is like, um, online food, DoorDash stuff. There's a trine here to Black Moon Lilith. So we're going to talk about Black Moon Lilith, and it's in the 3rd house of the driver. And also, like we said before, oh, isn't that interesting? This is just like one of the last charts we drew for this case. Black Moon Lilith was in the 3rd house last time. So again, there's some kind of shady neighbor that's involved here and is somehow helping. I don't know. But remember that Neptune it's drugs, it's Moscow, it's the name, and it's also something that is false, okay? Neptune is fake. And this person is trying to say something, and the court, which is represented by the 9th house, ain't having it. They're like, no, I don't know what it is. Could be documents. The 3rd house is documents. So there's something, it seems, that is not, it's not flying. And this is the villain, really, one of them here. Okay. And now the 400 witnesses strategy, we already talked about a little bit, but this looks like it is not going to work. These are too many people. They don't want to testify, and they are resisting. So this is Coburger, 7th house, and Uranus. Isn't it crazy how close Coburger is? Like, right? I mean, it's obvious that he's going to be close because they're in the same courtroom, but so wild how this is it Bill Richardson right next to Jupiter? And Jupiter is right on Algol. So we were talking about losing one's head. We are talking, okay, this is very, very close to that last, not to keep saying that, but I'm just shocked at how close this is to the last chart we looked at for Coburger. I think it was the last hearing, but again, this is something that has to do with the neck area and the cutting, the interruption. Uranus is cut, and Algol represents, like, trauma to the throat. So this is going to This is going to dominate the discussion, it seems. And I'm afraid to say that it seems as if they are going to delay the case. Why do I say that? Just because there's a sextile to Saturn there. And it looks as if there is support to delay the case, which nobody wants. They want to get this done with. I wonder if it has to do with the autopsy and how maybe there's some kind of suggestion. They've got a wild card up their sleeve. So this is like, oh, whoa, I didn't realize that kind of thing. Yeah, I know. I mean, they push it back forever. You wonder, though, the mindset of Koberger, because no, I haven't seen that Angel D. Okay, so do we have a couple of law firms involved here? Hey, Eda Silva, nice to see you. Okay, Lisa's asking, who would Saturn in the ninth be? Well, Saturn is a lawyer. And I think that could also represent Koberger's lawyer, because remember, the two planets that represent Koberger are Saturn and Uranus. It seems as if something is in his favor. You know, because we've got Aquarius. So Saturn is a lawyer, could also represent him because why? He's in jail, Pisces. So, stuck. Saturn represents stuck. It represents glue, and it's in Pisces. So stuck in jail. So he's in there and he's able to hear all, oh my God, it makes me sick. He's able to hear everything that they're saying about basically what he allegedly did, which just makes me ill. Who the hell is this? That's what I want to know, because this person is the one that is making this possible if it is delayed. And it does not look straightforward to me. There is something behind it. There's something devious behind it. And you can see that person is clearly lying about something. Neptune at 29 degrees, that's another fixed star. That is sheet. And that is, it's a tragedy. So, but it's also something, I mean, it's pretty bad. I wonder, it's almost like he's saying that he didn't see something. I shouldn't say he, I should say the person, whoever this is, they didn't see that. Um, but it seems like they did. So they're lying about something. They might even say ninth house is long distance. They might have said, no, I was out of town that day. I didn't see anything or hear anything. But there was something that they did witness. Yeah, pictures of the girls online. Exactly. I'm not sure what you mean, emotional cripple. Okay, Angel D, you're going to send me some leaked texts. And remember, it's kind of crazy how the chart showed us that first week after the murders. We didn't even know who it was. And I had a show on leaks. We knew that there were going to be a lot of leaks in this case, and that is South Node. This is such a good time to update, and you guys are updating me, so I appreciate all your information. Angel D, you always have the latest, so you're our lookout. You're our official lookout. But we want this case closed. We want the families to get some closure if they could. And will there be justice is the question. Our stelliums that we have, which mean very big clues, are Taurus. So we've got lots of neck area, lots of food, and also maybe some wealthy people too, and things that are online that have to do with money. We've got the Aries here, which is military. It's business owners, people with red hair, people that are wearing red. This is a man. This looks like a foreign man or could be a man with a foreign name. He might still, he might be American, but um, there is somebody here. Well, let's keep in mind, we're talking about Coburger too. So there could be some, this could also represent Coburger as the person with the weapon. Okay. All right. Let's say it was the person with the weapon. Okay. Right here. Lying about the weapon. There's no DNA here in the house that has anything to do with Taurus. Um, Maybe no DNA in the kitchen because sometimes, Taurus and Virgo both represent the kitchen, but where the food is. So I'm going to say it's the kitchen. All that food, and they couldn't get anything around there. Apparently, I don't know. It's what it seems like. And then, with Mars and North Node up at the very top, and this is if it's at 10 o'clock in the morning. If it's later, then maybe not so much. But this is right on the MC. This is as strong as it can get and shows that a lot of people are going to be hearing about maybe the blood DNA. That's a possibility. Now, we neglected to look at this little mini grand trine here. This is something that is very positive, but who is it positive for? It's weird. Sometimes you see that in your chart. You're going to see like this is Coburger and, there's that square there, but then you see that trine. So it's like, well, the good news is this, but the bad news is that. So he's getting good news and bad news. I don't like Neptune in the ninth house when there's a court case. It shows deception. It shows that you have the ability to lie and it's accepted in some way, shape, or form. You have got so many people who are dealing with the food industry here, but also some wealthy people, like I mentioned. And there's a trine to Pluto. This is also trash. Remember we were talking about the trash, and this is gonna hurt him. I'll bet you that's what it is. I'll bet you that there was blood in the trash, and I think that might hurt his case, which is blood evidence. Yet, there could be now Neptune up here, that can mean contamination. And so they might have, gosh, it's hard to talk about. The other thing that I would love to see is who these people are, because we've got 22 degrees here. It represents a killer. Okay, so 22 degrees, the success of a killer or this justice, this is a big clue right here because of this opposition right there. It falls. And the fourth house is the end of the matter. But really, ultimately, if you're like going through all of this in your head and you're like, what's what, who's who, yeah, but this, and then that, and then good news, but then versus bad news. And it's like, just reset, go back to the seventh house. And that's the murderer, alleged murderer, right there at 23 degrees, within 3 degrees of Algol. Now, Uranus also represents fast. And that's one thing that I heard in some of these other hearings that were for Coburger. They were very fast. So this might represent the fact that they're going to go in and they're not going to be there for very long. He's being up there with Uranus. I wonder if there might be some kind of suicide watch at this. Remember, the trash was collected before the crime scene investigators arrived and they had to go to the trash place. Yes. And don't forget the KG's was returned full of trash and not gone through. Yeah. It looks like the police are going to be really mad. And it seems as if there is going to be some bad press for them. Possibly. With Neptune there in the ninth, that's a scandal. And that can potentially show court scandal, or somebody is trying to create a scandal. But it's definitely, now also, Neptune represents a mirror, and Mars in the same proximity of Neptune is blood on the mirror, and sextile Pluto is a lot. So that also, not to say that there was a mirror around, but that's mirror, it's glass. Um, and this is interesting. This is a point of Thales. It's Pluto. This is the trash. This is the murderer's trash, the alleged murderer's trash. And this is something that is going to help. So it looks as if there is going to be some good DNA, Aquarius DNA, Pluto, trash. Um, and, I don't know, could be on a food container or something like that, which would be Taurus. Let's see here. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But the way that you hear about it, it was like she didn't have a chance. There wasn't much fighting, but I don't know. Yeah, exactly. That would be it. It would be the university scandal, ninth house university. And we can look at the ninth house as potentially another clue too. And where'd Marion go? She didn't like my card pull, I don't think. Let's see. We've got the ninth house. This is the university, this university scandal. Taurus. This is a bank too. Banking, money. Okay, so this is also behind it. We talked about this, I remember now. Is that university money. And they want this done. Definitely university influence. Neptune influence. Ninth house, university. And also notice that you see the bucket is turned upside down. So everything's pouring out of this bucket. Does that mean we're going to get some more information? That'll be interesting. Yeah, online money, turnovers in the chain of command, maybe problems. Well, you would think, but because of the sextile there, this shows that there's some secrets, university secrets, and there sure are a lot of them. Pluto, lots and lots. Money, tons and tons of money. So, but there's something with this opposition to that black moon Lilith, which is maybe somebody from the university is coming out to talk. And we're going to see this is South Node. It's interesting that this opposition to South Node is trying to get rid of blood and can't. I mean, so we already kind of know that with him in his house in Pennsylvania. Now, Mars at 10 degrees, that's a Capricorn degree. So this is an older police representative or law enforcement rep coming in at like an expert of some sort, saying that he took care of the location when it came to collection. But there's something that he didn't do. You can see that opposition there to the South Node. It could be a leak. It could be something is leaking about this person or what this person did. So the leak brings the person down. South node is leak, purging. Yeah, that's true. Ninth house is the press and what they're writing about. And you can also look at that ninth house as a clue. What are they going to be writing about? And so the ninth house, Jupiter and Neptune both represent the press, and Jupiter's up here. So there we go. Jupiter represents the press. They're up there with the prosecutors in the room with the killer. And really, really strong stuff when it comes to Neptune, which is the tragedy at 29 degrees, but also remember we were talking about a pool too. So they might be talking about the pool party. So I think that's a possibility. And that might be coming out in the press, is that pool party. Ninth house representing publications. So, yeah, really. Do you have it in the 3rd house? I mean, we all have a Black Moon Lilith, and Black Moon Lilith is gonna be in every one of our houses if you look at your solar return chart. And it's kind of like you can look at it and see who the person is going to be who might be against you in your upcoming year. Okay, Angel D, I got another rumor, no sources time, but from before the gag, allegedly the tap in upstairs bathroom or shower was left running. Okay, so water, they're gonna be talking about water. Yes, all that water. Pool party, scandal, Moscow, but also drugs. So I think they are going to, it seems as if they're gonna come out with some kind of a, you know, drug defense. I mean, that's just a no-brainer. They're gonna really try to talk to every single one who was in that house, who partied over the weekends, over the past year, and those are a lot of people. I mean, look at how many people were in that house in those videos. I mean, even if it was like 50 people a weekend, I mean, already that's hundreds of people over if you're gonna have a lot of parties there. You think that's the leak, the 3rd house. Okay. Um, yeah, maybe. That's possible. It's somebody who's doing somebody dirty, that's for sure. And it seems to now what's really weird is that all of the parties, we've got the journalist, we've got the prosecutor, we've got the defense, okay? Those are the 3 up there in the 11th house. And whoever is this DNA expert, this Venus. Okay, so we've got 4 people here. I don't know if that's the case, but it certainly seems like there's a female here. And they are all trying to do something kind of shady, all of them, in some way, shape, or form, according to this chart. And it, of course, is my opinion. So the 3rd house is local stuff, neighborhood, shading the truth about the DNA on all sides. The court is ruled by Jupiter, which is right on Algol, the devil. And then that also represents the press too. So the same planet represents the press and the court, and it's on that nasty fixed star. This is kind of like watching the show Dallas. Everybody has some kind of behind the scenes strategy. There maybe the truth is being shaded a little bit. For the most part, the university is going to benefit maybe at first, somewhat benefit from whatever decision is going to happen. Yet this person is kind of the fly in the ointment. If you look at it from a simple sense, you've got this bucket that's turning everything over. I'm reading it to be like, let's start again. Let's, you guys do all the research you need. Now I understand why you need, 400 witnesses. You just told me that the victims had 20 parties and different people coming in and out. And, we're going to want to talk to all of them. It's a big mess. Okay. Thanks. Glow with the flow. There's a lot of politics involved. They don't want this trial, near the students during school year, which I gotta say, I understand. If people think that there's gonna be a trial going on, they're not gonna wanna go to classes, or they're not gonna wanna start as freshmen if the case, started in the fall. So it definitely is a financial type of influence there. Defense is desperately trying to overturn the grand jury decision and get pretrial. You can always look at the vertex. The vertex is in Sag, and that shows the court, and it's ooh, 18 degrees is evil. The evil court. A lot of evil in the court, that's for sure. Fifth house, the families are there. That Scorpio. Let's look at Coburger, the seventh house. Okay. Who should we look at from his perspective? What's on his mind? Well, that's interesting. Third house from what's on his mind is Pisces, which is jail. Also, I mean, maybe that represents Moscow. Maybe drugs too. Maybe drugs. Now, why would it be on his mind? Well, he might be researching it, researching the community, or he's interested in it. I don't know. Maybe you think maybe he could even be, I mean, do they give him drugs? I don't know before he heads to court, but definitely something Piscean related that's on his mind during the hearing. And we can look and see what his family is. Actually, you know what? Third house is also his sibling. And does he have an older sibling? Saturn there. Let's see. Third house is communications, siblings. Third house from the seventh, which is Brian Koberger. And something in there. Okay, this is the police. This is the police. And the third house from him is communications. So there's going to be some type of, this is when he spoke to the police right in the beginning. And that's not working out for some reason. There's an opposition there. Um, it, it it shows that something's going to be thrown out, I think. Anyway, I'm kind of meandering through this chart now, but I just wanted to look through his perspective. So that's the third house kind of packed. Um, Fifth house would be his dating life. Fifth house. Oh, who he was dating at the time, if he was dating anyone. I mean, I don't know. I can't see him dating anyone, but that would be the fifth house and the fifth house lord, which would be this person. So could be somebody who says, well, I know Brian and he would never do that. And this person, there's some kind of Taurus involved. I don't know, but this is his fifth house of, girlfriends. And there's a lot in there. There's a lot in there. And with Uranus in the fifth house, that shows ex-girlfriends. I don't know if he has any ex-girlfriends, but I guess we're going to find out. So maybe some witnesses, more witnesses that we could potentially get here. Yes. Yep. You got to be kidding me. Are you serious? Whoa. Okay. Okay. So Neptune in the ninth, that's video. So we're going to be talking about not only that Neptune as video, but Saturn in Pisces is old video. That looks legit. That looks okay. But there's something here. Oh, that's what it is. That's crazy. So the 3rd house is his communications, coworkers' communications, and I guess there must have been some video or something, and somebody blocked it, or it wasn't recorded or something, but it looks like somebody had a hand in that. I don't know. That's right, sister is a psychologist. So, it doesn't really show that, though, in this chart. Yeah, I don't see that. I think that someone took video of the entire event, one of the killers. They talked about a live stream early on and then it went silent. Yeah, I think you're right, Natalie. Neptune is so far up high in that chart, the original chart. And also, I've always said that there was some comparison with the Delphi case and how Neptune was high up there too. And there's also rumors of Abby and Libby's murders being videoed. So I think that's part of it. I don't know. That he certainly had some time to put it on the dark web, that's for sure. He had a few weeks there. And he was definitely getting off on the fact that people were talking about it and he wanted to stir it up. But just it's incomprehensible. It really is. Okay, so I think we need, I got some new cards and I'm going to try them out here. Let's talk about the videotape. If the video, I don't know if I'm going to use these cards for that. Let's talk about what happened at the scene and if there was video that is, I can't ask that. Plus, it's not part of the hearing. What kind of surprise evidence are we going to see that we haven't seen before? Tell us that. Okay. Oh. You see it? Okay. 4 of Swords. Somebody is. This looks like a girlfriend, or somebody who is like a hermit. 4 of Swords. What do you guys get from that? And it's upright. So now in the original tarot, it's a knight that's lying there, but this is a female. And it's just somebody who's recuperating and relaxing. How could that be a clue for what we haven't seen yet? I'm going to show him in a second. Wow. Yeah, I hope so too. This is It's kind of crazy. I don't think it was him that streamed it, though. I don't even think he was one of the killers. He knew, but I don't think he was active. Hard to explain. Like he came in at the end somehow. Here's the thing. Here's why I have a trouble with that line of thinking. This was done as if somebody was extremely angry. And you'd think that if it was planned, that, there wouldn't be such a motivation to do something in the way that it was done. Now, I guess you can still be very angry with someone and want revenge and plan it. So I have to remember that. Toy, you're saying reconnecting lovers. Yeah, sleep. What does that? Oh, they were sleeping. Okay. But I guess it'll come out about whether they were sleeping or not. Maybe that's what it is. Sure looks like they were. Well, we know that one wasn't. Yes, I will. Thank you for the reminder. 4 of Swords. the victim. So we're going to find out more about the four of swords. And good call, Sherry. Thank you. Sherry, you were like, I've got to write in for this one. Is there anything in the charts about teaching a lesson or learning a lesson? Okay, we're going to ask that in a second, but let's look at a clarifying card. This is, what we were going to find out that we don't already know. And can you please give us some kind of clarification when it comes to what we are going to find out after this particular hearing? A lot of times in these hearings, we don't really hear too much. So, what will we find out that you can tell us further from this other card that I pulled? Okay. All right. And we got this before. Amy got the Hierophant before on this. This is somebody. Hierophant. Somebody, isn't that like breaking the rules or something that has to do with the rules? But I never understood that stairway up there. So you guys are going to have to help me with that one. Gonzalez has a brother in prison he killed. They threatened revenge. Okay, allegedly, reportedly, right? And chain of events. Okay. So we're going to get a better chain of events then. What do you think, Glow with the Flow? Do you think as far as the Hierophant for the next card? Let me see. Hierophant. And that's upright. Oh, so he you know what? This could be a religious person that's coming out. And because we have talked about how Neptune is a cult. So there's something culty maybe that's coming in. I asked if there was this was the clarifying card for the other one, which is the Four of Swords. So there is, and we're thinking that's the victims, but there's also somebody who might come in who is some kind of a religious guy, could be, a member of somebody's church. So, okay, the institution. Okay. He's a TikTok junkie. If you put it on as a video, it will keep going until you wake up the next day. Yes, I know. The footprint at the bottom of the stairs. Yes. Okay, so stairs might come in as a clue, possibly. All right. Yeah, maybe I don't know. I know they're not going to have a psychic. I mean, we really have to, if we're talking about a murder case, we really need to look at the eighth house. And the eighth house is in Aquarius. So, and whoa, isn't that interesting? The defendant, the lord of the defendant is the lord of the killer. So, well, according to this chart, one and the same. You could say that these are killers, I think. I think so. Take out, the prosecutor, take out the defense lawyer, take it all out. Just look at the eighth house. That's Aquarius. And this is a group of killers. And Taurus would be a name. What would be the name of this group of killers? weird how Odin is Germanic. And so that's Mars and Aries. So lots of Aries up at the top. It's possible they might be bringing that in too as an alibi, or not an alibi, as an alternative theory about, they might be bringing some people in. I don't know, possible, but this is a group of killers here. And there is a female in there. There is a female. So, um, what does it mean though if this is the King Street location and the killers are squaring this? See that? This is a king house. Um, I don't know. Okay, let me look at this. They're local. They are local. They're this group, if if it's what I think it is, these people could be very close by. They're close by and they know, or this person knows this group. This is a team, it seems. And team, sun represents Leo. Leo's a team. So this is, I don't know if Leo represents a team. 11th house really represents the team. But I think of sports, where there's a sports team. So this is kind of like, could there be some kind of sports element to it? Did any of them play sports? I can't remember. Didn't Ethan? The judges team. Yeah, I know. Okay. Yeah, I know. We've got to remember, glow with the flow. Thank you for the reminder. It's a motion to change venue. Okay. But we can still get information. That's true. That they showed up at the house after the death. They walked in and got something and left in a van. There's a video of that. That's news to me. I don't think I saw that one. I think that there will be. I really do, Cav. So we've got quite a few storylines here. Team Moscow or U of I don't want the trial there in Moscow for sure. Yeah, that's true, Natalie. Interesting. Okay. All right. So I think we kind of picked this apart as much as we could. It doesn't look like a very good chart. It looks like things are dumping out. It's kind of a mess. And I am going to say that it's going to be a quick hearing because of Uranus there. And lots of pushback on all the DNA that they haven't gotten. But we have several parties in here. We've got the university, we've got this group. Um, but it does definitely look like somebody's benefiting. And I'm sorry to say that it seems as if it's difficult. It's difficult to really make anything conclusive here. Ninth house. See, when I see Saturn in there, they're discussing the delay. I can't really make anything of it. I can't make anything of it. It's like all of these people, they almost get their way. I would say there's a high percentage that the bad guys get a benefit from this hearing. And I'm not going to say who the bad guys are, but it certainly looks like there's a lot of access to the ninth house. There's these people here. There is this third house with this nefarious person here. And it looks like some kind of conspiring of some sort. But it's the reason it's so hard to figure out is because you've got the different sides all together and they have this sextile to the ninth house of the court. So, like, what's that? It's like they all have success. Well, this is the court. And they've got this trine to Pluto. That's the trash. It's a change. I think it is a change. I mean, you've got two planets that are making major, major aspects here. One is means change, and the other one is transform and change. So it does seem like, there's going to be. Could there be a change of venue? I would say there might be a high chance because of that change. Still, there's something blocking it, but that's why I'm going to say a high percent. I'm not going to say 100%. Okay. Definitely a change, you think? All right, let's look at my new cards. I told you I was going to look at the new cards. These are Black Moon cards. And they are just astrology cards. They're not actual tarot cards. So I guess we should just ask these cards. I know you're supposed to sleep on them when you order them, but I didn't. I skipped that part. But I want to know if there's going to be a change of venue. Let's just be direct and ask, will this hearing result in a change of venue? Okay, let me put this. Okay. All right. Will there be a change? Ooh. This is reverse Libra. So that's really interesting. Well, Libra is justice. Reverse is no. So no on the court. So I'm saying these cards are saying no change of venue. All right. So let me get a clarifying card. I mean, the DA doesn't want to change a venue. And usually the DA, I mean, they do get their way. Well, I just dropped some, so I might as well pick those up. Okay. All right, we've got 3 of Pentacles. Oh, and King of Pentacles reversed. I got to get a better background here. King of Pentacles reversed. Okay. Okay. Oh, you know what? That looks exactly like Bill Thompson. So 3 of Pentacles. I know it looks like all of the answers are right here, but what do you think? I know. Oh, could be the judge. It could be the judge. Yeah, it's Bill Thompson, but it was reversed. So I just got that to me says that it's going to change because he's not going to get his way if it's reversed, which is what it was. Okay. So I guess what we're just going to say that there is going to be something that at least upsets the prosecution. How about we just keep it at that? because I'm just getting I'm getting different clues here. No, I haven't. That pretty mess. What did she say? Inquiring minds want to know. Um, yeah, maybe a change to the camera ruling again. Oh, really? You didn't hear about that? Oh, yes. You've gotta put your energy on those cards. And Toy, you're saying, I think Judge will do everything he can to not come back to bite him. I agree. But what's the 3 of Pentacles? 3 of Pentacles when it comes to this. This is and that was reversed too. I don't know if that was reversed because I picked it up off the floor. So I don't know if it was reversed. Let's just forget that one. But weird. I don't think with this card or this deck that I've gotten the King of Pentacles. And wow, does that look like him? And it was reversed. And it's I listened to it. It's extreme stuff. Multiple orgs involved. Someone spilled the beans on who knew what allegedly. Okay. Ready, steady, go, or ready, steady, stop. 3, making things difficult. Yes. And okay. Makes sense. Cav, thanks for that. Very interesting. It's always interesting to see what other content creators are saying, but teamwork. Okay. Well, we're going to have to just figure out the next step when it comes on May 14th. The sun in Algol, which is the devil. The devil presides over this court. So, really, isn't that the answer? Whatever the devil wants, the devil gets in this hearing. And so it certainly seemed, you can say change of venue all you want, but it really looked like for the most part, the university has the advantage, except for that opposition with Black Moon Lilith. So that it's kind of pulling down the court, whoever this is. And they're doing it on purpose too. So it's really it's going to be difficult. Okay. Yes, that's right. Yeah, a lot of people saying he wasn't the main person. I don't know. It's hard to believe. I mean, there definitely was anger. This was an angry going up the stairs, having a mission. And I just think of all the things that Todd said, and he could see, I think he said there were 2 people going up the stairs, didn't he? I kind of remember him saying that. I know it is. Okay. Yeah, nobody's controlling him. Definitely not. Okay. Well, that's all I have. I will see you guys tomorrow night, and we've got more royal revelations. And if you guys are interested in talking about Coburger again this week, let me know. Um, we can talk about some of the new clues that are coming in. I think this hearing chart, I mean, it only gave us so much, but there was a lot of just seems like jockeying and too much strategy on both sides. So, yes, on the bright side, Algol is related to Medusa. Medusa keeps the profane out of the temples. Let's hope she protects the innocents. Yes, very, very well put. I know we missed all of our true crime peeps, and I'm going to be focused on some more true crime this week and next. So, hope to see you. Thanks, everyone. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll talk to you soon.